I'm your host, Charles Johnson, and welcome to CastNet Showcase, where small ideas grow into big opportunities. I'd like to start off by saying that we're going to be diving into a subject that has the power to open doors across continents, international trade shows. And our guest today, my brother in arms, and our chamber member and board member of CastNet International Chamber of Commerce, Mansa Musa. Mansa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what drove you into the arena of international trade shows?
My dad is a historian, and so I grew up reading a lot of history books. Our lineage on my dad's side comes from Ethiopia. On my mom's side comes from Ghana and the Songhai Empire with the Mandinka people. And I was reading so many historical stories about the 22 Mansa Musa kings, about Queen Saba from Ethiopia, the great empires of Manopotapa, which is now Zimbabwe, the Swahili traders. So I have been reading all these ancient history books about us traveling around the planet doing trade with different ancient civilizations, with China, with India, and with South America. And so I was intrigued as a young man about the power and the affluence and influence that Africans had globally. And at the time, I was looking at the state of African trade now, and I couldn't believe it. It was remarkable, the change that had taken place. So one of my dreams as a young man was to become like our ancient Renaissance traders that were trading, around the planet. And so I just kept reading, and I started to take courses in high school and college and everything, focused on global trade, international trade, travel, import, export, and exploring, our African countries and diaspora around the planet. And so that's what really got me started into international trade. One of the things I started to do was just buy goods from. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, although my family was from New Orleans, Louisiana. And in Seattle, I started ordering goods from New York, and then going to festivals and vendor fairs and selling those goods. And it was really profitable. It was fun. I was meeting a lot of amazing people. And, I was getting in contact with different people from Africa when through high school and university. I made a lot of contacts. And so I was, again, amazed at the array of merchandise that we have to offer from, Africa and our diaspora areas and countries. And so that spurred me into the industry.
That's outstanding, man. I did want to ask a question for those who are, new to much of what you've done and what you do. Where are you calling us from now?
Right now, I'm in Ethiopia. The one thing I like about doing international trade, if you want, it allows you to live in several different countries. So I designed a program where I can live in the U.S. and in Ethiopia. I've done the same thing. I've been here now for 14 years. So right now I'm in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. It's so beautiful and peaceful and wonderful. The cost of living is fantastic. It's not much violence at all, and the weather is really accommodating. A lot of people think that all African countries are hot, but each country has a different climate. So Ethiopia is like Seattle. It's really more cooler weather year round. It's one of the highest elevations in Africa, so it's a real cool climate and just wonderful. I also did the same thing in Ghana for 12 years. The climate there is warmer. Again, another friendly country with cost of living is phenomenal. The biggest difference between Ethiopia and Ghana is on the ocean, so you get that ocean atmosphere. The climate again is a little warmer and is tropical. And I did the same thing in Sierra Leone for 3 years. Sierra Leone is a smaller country. The climate is warm and it's on the ocean. Again, really safe places. And I picked, because we come from America, I picked English-speaking countries so I could maneuver a little better. And it's just been a wonderful experience traveling back and forth. I go and do trade shows and exhibits and trade missions in the U.S., selling goods, wholesale and retail. And then I come back and live in Africa where the cost of living is like 100 times different. So it's really a wonderful lifestyle.
Oh, that is outstanding. I want to dive into the crux of what we're talking about right now. And I know that there are individuals who are very interested in knowing about the entire trade show mantra. Uh, and so I want to ask, in your experience, what makes trade shows such a powerful tool for small businesses seeking global expansion?
Well, one of the fantastic things about trade shows, and early in my career, I started, like I said, doing festivals, and then I had some retail shops in Seattle, Washington. My auntie is from Kenya, and my uncle is from Mali. They had a store called Uzuri in a really high traffic area in Seattle called Broadway. I quit my corporate job, and I quit my corporate job to work at their import export shop. And while I was working at her shop, she was going to trade shows to get merchandise to sell at the store. And I was intrigued. I said, well, let me join you at this trade show. So we went to the Seattle Gift Show, was my first trade show. And I was amazed. There were 6,000 booths on 5 different floors with manufacturers and vendors from maybe 50 different countries from around the world. And I just was flabbergasted because this was something that was hidden from our community and hidden from me, even though I was in the industry. And I looked at it and I said to myself, you know, there were only maybe 5 African booths out of 6,000 exhibitor booths. And then I realized there's a big hole missing for the 3 million African small businesses in the US and 43 million African businesses in Africa and in all the different diaspora small businesses, because 60% of trade that comes into every country comes through those trade shows. At these trade shows, all your major stores, like in the US, Costco, Pier 1 Imports, your mom and pop stores, all the zoos that have their little stores inside, all of those buyers and store owners, grocery store owners, gas station owners, distributors, they all attend these trade shows to find new and exciting products to buy wholesale to sell at their venues. And we were completely missing from the picture. So that is the power of trade shows, and that's what right now the 54 African countries and small businesses in the U.S. and around the world are missing out on that because we don't have African trade shows specifically for African small businesses that have 1,000 to 6,000 exhibitor booths for these store owners to come and see our products from around the world. And again, these are wholesale trade shows or expos where major stores come and order containers of goods to sell throughout the year at these trade shows. So right now we're still missing out on a lot of this opportunity. One of the things that I suggest to people is until we get our own full-scale trade shows like what we're building with the American and African International Trade Commission and with C.A.S.T.N.E.T. is to try to visit and attend and get yourself a booth at these trade shows in the US, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, because it's a closed market where you sit there with your booth, with your goods or services, and then all the major stores come to you instead of you searching around for clients, calling through the internet or driving around trying to meet buyers and store owners. All of them, a large percentage of them, come to these shows, and it's really a huge commerce for small businesses. And again, I suggest until we get something large scale for ourselves, which we're working on right now, try to at least attend, even if you don't get an exhibitor booth, because this is where most of the commerce is being done in every country.
That is outstanding. And so I know that one of the key elements associated with small businesses, how do they get involved? How should a small business decide, which trade shows to attend, and especially when they're worldwide? How do they know? What do they need to consider before getting engaged or at least considering becoming a part of a trade show?
Well, one of the key things that I did is there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So make sure and join a local chamber of commerce, because this is what these chamber of commerces are made for. So if you're in Ohio, join C.A.S.T.N.E.T. International Chamber of Commerce, or it doesn't matter where you are now with the internet. You can join a good, motivated chamber of commerce. You can get in touch with the American and African International Trade Commission. We have a website, smweglobal.com, and that's one step where the chamber or a business association can guide you to the best trade shows. But of course, now we have the internet, we have AI, so you can do research on the internet and use AI to find out and do B2B matchmaking, which is some of the things that we're doing with C.A.S.T.N.E.T. International Chamber of Commerce and the American and African International Trade Commission. We'll do B2B matchmaking and match up what products or services you have with the best trade show that fits your business or service that you're looking for. So those are the two best ways that I would say to enter the market. Join a chamber of commerce, get involved, learn all the information you can through the chambers or business association, and then get on the internet and do some research and let artificial intelligence help you do the B2B matchmaking so you know which shows are the best for your product or service.
And I appreciate you sharing that. And just as a shameless plug, I will say that if your chamber does not provide you input, insight, or any working knowledge of helping you get or become a part of a trade show, reach out to us at C.A.S.T.N.E.T. International Chamber of Commerce, or you'll be able to reach directly out to Brother Mansa Musa to be able to gain access to that knowledge. And we will make sure we get his contact information before closing out. But I have another question here in regards to, how far in advance should companies begin planning for registering, becoming an exhibitor to showcase their products and services at a trade show? So how far ahead should they be planning?
You always should plan ahead 8 months for any event if you want to be successful. So you want to plan 8 months in advance because you have to prepare your marketing. That way you can reach the maximum amount of store owners or store buyers that want your product or service. You also want to have enough time to get your products in place. So if you're ordering from another country, it usually takes, if you're putting on a ship, and container shipping is the most cost-effective way and profitable way to do it. It usually takes 60 days to get the product into the country. And so 8 months is the magic number as far as planning in advance.
And this is for international trade shows and not local.
Yeah, this is for international trade shows. Okay, so let's say that you already have products, in your warehouse, or if you're a local manufacturer, you're making your goods in the U.S. and you're planning for a trade show, then you need about 4 to 6 months. Really, 6 months would be the best because, again, you need that marketing. One of the key things to be successful at a trade show is to get enough marketing out to store owners and store buyers. So they visit your booth, they know that you're coming, they're acquainted with you before they come to the show. That way you can come to the show and make commerce. Because unlike conferences and different events like that, a trade show, you can make it maybe $50,000 worth of cash orders at the show. And then, of course, you always get a lot of different contacts at the show of store owners and store buyers that are interested. And so after the show, you usually make another $150,000 worth of orders over a period of 90 to 120 days. So I'd say 6 months for a local event if you have products already in the country where the show is at, and 8 months if you're shipping some goods from overseas.
Good information. What are some of the best strategies that you would recommend for attracting the right types of visitors to a booth in such a competitive environment?
One of the key things now, again, is we have the internet and we have all type of technologies that can assist you in reaching your client base. Um, right now, it's really key to have a really strong and professional social media presence. You should definitely have, a mail database technology like MailChimp or Klaviyo. Um, One of the other things that I like to use, they have these freelancer websites. They have a big one in Africa, and I apologize, I can't remember the name because it's new. But a lot of times I use Fiverr, and it's inexpensive, but you can have these freelancer websites. And again, I like to do shameless plugs. My website, smweglobal.com. You can sign up and be a freelancer there. And then what we do is we'll contact Fiverr and have a sales rep call 1,000 clients, because what you want to do is take a qualitative and a quantitative approach. The quantitative approach is you want to know what number you want to reach at a show. Let's say you want to have $100,000 in sales, then you calculate that by your average price point, and then you'll know the number of people that you need to reach. So let's say if you reach 1,000 people and 100 people buy, so if you're trying to reach a number like 200,000 in sales, then maybe you have to reach 5,000 people to get 300 people to buy from you at the show or come down and visit you at the show to reach that number. So that's the quantitative approach. And then the qualitative approach is you want to make sure that everything is as high quality as possible. And again, you can use your acquaintances and associations with your Chamber of Commerce, with Fiverr, with other professionals that can make sure that you have a quality catalog, quality website, a quality ordering sheets, all the technology to be able to take orders at the show. So you just want to make sure that you have everything top quality. And if you do that qualitative and quantitative approach, then you'll be assured to have some success at every show.
Excellent. Excellent. I do have a few more questions. One in particular is, what is the biggest trade show myth you'd like to clear up and to make sure people understand the truths and the facts associated with their participation in trade shows?
The biggest myth is that you pay all this money and you don't get any sales. Okay, so that is a complete myth. What really happens is a lot of time people don't have the proper training before they go to a show. And so the training, your circle of affluence, I keep saying business associations, you really need to get involved with business associations and chambers. You really need to do your own research now. When I first started out, I'm 60 years old now. So when I first started out, I had to go to the library to get all my information. But now everything is available online. So even if you're having a challenge with your circle of affluence getting the proper information and training, you can go online. You can go to YouTube and type in, how do I um, maximize my success at a trade show? And there's an ample supply of fantastic videos to show you step by step what to do. So that's really the biggest myth. You just have to be completely prepared. You have to have, of course, most people's merchandise is fantastic, but one of the things we say in our business, it's not just the product, it's the system. You have to have real tight systems management. You have to have a really tight infrastructure for your own business. We call it SCADA. And SCADA is a systems management that they use for water and electricity, but you can also use it for your excuse me, your internal management of your business. And your business infrastructure has to be really, really tight to maximize your success at a trade show. And again, if you make sure that you contact the specific buyers and store owners for your merchandise or service, and then you have ways to take money in, like squareup.com and all these different technologies. Your website is excellent and able to take money and working. And you use all of the tools, like I said, freelance websites. Make sure that you're in with a good chamber of commerce. If you're not having success with one chamber of commerce, make sure that you check with other ones or professional organizations. And then they have training at the trade show. So one of the things you can do before you actually participate in a trade show is you can go to a trade show as a visitor and attend all of their training sessions. Trade shows also have a mailing list and a calling list that you can pay for their services of the particular trade show, and they will contact buyers and sellers and investors and factoring companies and distributors on your behalf. So as long as you do your due diligence and make sure and do your research and you're prepared, then you'll definitely see the success that you're looking for.
Can you share some common mistakes that companies may make, especially at an international trade show? Either in the very beginning segments of becoming a part of a trade show as an exhibitor, or as well as after or post show exhibitions at the trade show. What types of mistakes have you seen happen?
A lot of times, um, besides not being prepared, let's say that a person does have everything pretty much together. Um, Even myself, I had attended some shows where I didn't anticipate the level of success. So you really have to be prepared when you go to an international trade show to know how to do the shipping. When you actually get some large orders, how to, navigate through the logistics and distribution of the products, shipping it there or shipping it from there to the US. The tax situations, the political climate is another challenge. You really should always be up to date on the technology in case, like when COVID came, I wasn't prepared. I had scheduled several tours and I had a lot of trade deals set up, and then all of a sudden there were no planes flying and no ships going. So you just got to, be aware of all of the ins and outs of the political scene, and you have to be prepared and ready for when you get a huge order or several orders that add up to a lot of business. Some of the things are like factoring. Let's say you go to a show, you have a great product, everything is organized, and then Pier 1 Imports come and orders 5 containers from you. Now you're not going to have the funding ready. And so you got to be prepared for something like that, looking for invoice, in advance, searching for invoice financing, factoring. There's a lot of factoring companies. When you get orders from medium and large companies, they'll take your invoice and give you 80% of the funding so you can purchase the merchandise that you need, even if it's locally or shipping it from overseas. So, these are some of the other things that you really have to be ready and prepared for.
Well, that is very good information to have. And as we're closing out, what I want to do is ask you, how can individuals get in contact with you and reach out to you? And I know you shared your email address earlier, but I want to make sure that they hear this information again so they can reach out to you should they have any questions.
Okay, and I just want to do a quick spiel about some of the things that we're offering at the American and African International Trade Commission. Right now, we have business training programs. So we have a 3-year course that we built. We've taught it at universities and community colleges. It's a 3-year program. You can come to our website at www.smweglobal.com. You can email us at vipguest@smwglobal.com and get information. We have international trade programs. We've been working on some virtual banking systems, and right now they have a fantastic investment portal at C.A.S.T.N.E.T. International Chamber of Commerce. So you can go to that website. If you're just getting your business ready for some financing, you can come to C.A.S.T.N.E.T. International Chamber of Commerce, and they'll get you ready and prepared so you can get private or angel investment funding. Right now, we've been working on some infrastructure projects in several countries in Ethiopia, and I know that C.A.S.T.N.E.T. has some infrastructure projects that they're working. Which country are we working in right now?
We're actually doing some work now in both South Africa, quite a bit of work in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone is another target-rich area where we're just starting to really dig our teeth into. We're also working within the Ivory Coast in Cote d'Ivoire, and we're looking to do more expansion in Uganda as well. And so as we're reaching out and doing more work, actual work in these areas where we're really grasping our attention for those small businesses, and I know that you yourself have some trade shows in the pipeline, and I want to make sure that we lead some attention towards that because this will be a great opportunity for individuals who are seeking to become a part of an international trade show to reach out to Mansa now. He has a few that are scheduled to that are forthcoming. Can you share a little bit more information about those?
Yes, right now we have our schedule out through mid 2026. We have a fantastic event September in New York Fashion Week. So right now we're doing throughout 2025, 2026, our hybrid version of trade shows. So usually we do a full trade show, but right now there's 43 million businesses in Africa and 3 million African businesses in the US that we want to give at least a year and a half of training. And so what we've done is we set up New York Fashion Week in September, and then we'll do some B2B matchmaking and train people how to do shows in New York. And then in January, we'll do the Atlanta Home Furnishing Show in Georgia. And we'll do some B2B matchmaking and then show people an existing trade show that they can attend. In Seattle, Washington in May, we're going to do Folk Life Festival, a big coffee section from Ethiopian coffee vendors. And then we'll do some B2B matchmaking to show people how to do trade shows. Later on in the year, we're going to do a trade show in Nigeria. And so we'll bring a lot of people from US, Canada, Europe, and other African countries to Nigeria to join their trade show. If there's a country, I don't care if you're in Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, and you're interested in doing a mini trade show just to get a feel for it and get some training, contact us and we can schedule you throughout the 12 months of 2027. We'll bring 25 people from our regions to your region. We'll do a B2B matchmaking and mini trade show. And then we'll get ready to start doing our full trade shows again in 2027.
Outstanding. Thank you very much for that input. And in closing, if you could give one piece of advice to small businesses and small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups, you name it, who are looking to attend their first international trade show, what would that be?
My biggest advice is don't get a booth at the first trade show. I would say go to two fairly large trade shows. Look on the internet and see, a large trade show, something like the Seattle Gift Show, Portland Gift Show, California, Los Angeles Gift Show, San Francisco, Orlando, New York Gift Show, the Atlanta Home Furnishing Show, and attend at least two trade shows as a visitor, and go and take the whole 3 or 4 days and walk through the entire trade show, attend as many of the training sessions that they have. That way you can get a real good feeling for a trade show before you attend. That's my biggest advice. And as entrepreneur, never give up. Always look for funding. Don't be afraid to do a pitch. Make sure and get involved with some angel investors and some private investors. Get your paperwork together and push your idea out to people. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't give up. It's not, there's always going to be challenges, and everything in life is not easy, but your vision and your dream is worth it.
That is outstanding advice. And I am very pleased and excited about the international trade show industry and your role in this, leading, mentoring, and educating so many individuals who are not only new to the environment, but also looking to do better in the space that they have chosen to be in. And on that note, we appreciate, yes.
We invite everybody. We're also having a fantastic event here in Ethiopia in November. We invite everybody to come to our website, sign up. We'd love to have at least 25 to 50 people come, enjoy our trade show event with fashion and business. And we have a spa tour now, part of all of our B2B matchmaking. We take you to at least 3 or 4 different spas while you're in country. So we invite everybody to this event. It's a Pan-African event in Ethiopia. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for this. And I appreciate your time here, and especially in helping us understand more about the international trade show environment. And on that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to this particular interview. But most importantly, always remember at C.A.S.T.N.E.T., one of the main focal points and one of the mottos we live by: your connections are your currency. And so you make sure that you have as much currency available at all times. And on that note, thank you very much, Brother Mansa Musa, and thank you all for tuning in.
Thank
Until
you.
next time. That has the power to open doors across continents.
The 22 Mansa Musa kings, affluence and influence that Africans had. The one thing I like about doing international trade,
Such a powerful tool for small businesses seeking global expansion.
and I just was flabbergasted because this was something that was hidden from our community and hidden from me, even though I was in the industry. African trade shows. specifically for our own full-scale trade shows like what we're building, try to at least attend, even if you don't get an exhibitor booth, because
how do they get involved?
the biggest myth is that you pay all this money and you don't get any sales. My biggest advice is don't get a booth at the first trade show. Always look for funding. Don't be afraid to do a pitch.
Connections are your currency.